Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another podcast. I hope everyone's had a great week in the snow. I think my kids have enjoyed it a lot more than what I've had, to be honest. I was lucky. I booked the first part of the week off, so it didn't really affect me too much getting to and from work. But it has been a bit of a pain in the backside. Now, obviously, it's starting to freeze over a little bit. It's been a bit frustrating in the mornings trying to get the car ready to set off for work. But no, I hope everyone's had a better week than what I have. As I say, this evening we have our guest coming on, which is David Meeson. I spoke to David a few weeks ago about coming on, actually. He's been doing some very good things on the Facebook page for the Greenun. He's been doing bits and pieces in there, putting in about past clubs segment. It's called Gone But Never Forgotten, which I think is really good because I think a lot of the past clubs that we've had in the SIL have probably influenced a lot of the clubs that we've got at the moment. I think a few of them may have merged or have even gone from being one club and changed over to another. So, no, I think that'd be great to have David on tonight to discuss those. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for listening. Thank you for coming on. Whether you, as I say, you're listening on PODBEAN or if you're listening on Spotify, or even if you're on the YouTube channel and having a watch on there. Been a little bit more bet with the YouTube channel. I've put 2 videos out this week. So if you haven't had a chance to have a look at those, pop over to the YouTube channel. One of them is the mental health episode that I'd done a couple of weeks ago. On that as well, it's also got some links and some other stuff on there which could be quite helpful for people. And also on the YouTube channel, there will also be links for the businesses that I've been talking about in the show as well. So there'll be links on there, or anything else I speak about, and I think that it would be beneficial for people. I'll put a link in there as well. So pop over there. It's a little bit easier than putting a link on here. It can be quite confusing. Obviously, only people that are listening right now will be able to follow that link. So that's the reason why I do the YouTube channel, so I can get that information out there. The Suffolk FA have put something out tonight. They're putting stuff out quite regularly at the moment, bits and bobs. I think it's just kind of letting people know that they're still there and they're still thinking about us. It's like a caring parent. They put a tweet out tonight, not that long ago, called Suffolk FA Lockdown Lowdown. I'll read you kind of the little statement that it's got. It's more giving people kind of an option of other things to do and stuff like that. So I'll just read you, with the restrictions still being in place and no return date for football as of yet. Suffolk FA wanted to showcase a few ideas to help players, coaches, clubs get through a tough period. We've split the ideas across 5 different areas: fitness challenges, juniors support, helplines, volunteering opportunities, and upcoming campaigns. If the club players are going to do anything different, they would like to let us know about things they are all involved in, and then please get in touch via email, and the email will be on there. As I say, I will put the link in the description, which will be on the YouTube channel. The fitness part of it, Suffolk FA Round the Grounds Challenge. Suffolk FA staff will be trying to complete a 1,052-mile journey around 20 Premier League grounds in 4 weeks. Updates can be found on social media channels. There's loads of links in there if you wanted to have a look at that. The youth section, giving you different options, different programs and stuff like that with the links on there. Up and coming campaigns, which is Happy LGBT History Month, which is on there. Football versus homophobia, which is on there as well. Level playing field, weeks of action. There's information on there. Football welcomes refugees, which is on there as well. It's information. Also health and wellbeing. That's on there as well. It's got some links if people are having difficulties at the moment. I know it's a struggle. I've had a few issues myself, and I know a lot of other people have as well. We've got some links on there. Also, if you did want to go, say, onto the YouTube channel with the episode that I done on men's mental health, there is some links on there. So have a look at them, and we'll go from there. Another thing I wanted to mention as well, this is something from a player that played for me last season. Unfortunately, I believe it was last month, him and his partner unfortunately lost their newborn child. They've had a GoFundMe page set up. I did tweet it out, I think last week or beginning of this week. They are asking for donations, nothing major. Obviously, with something like that, it is a major shock, but it can also be quite a costly shock as well. With everything that's going on at the moment, all they're asking for is a little bit of help. So say the GoFundMe page I've already tweeted out already. Once again, I will put it on the YouTube channel in the description. So if anyone wants to help out on there, that would be great. As I say, what I've told said before, every little helps, and hopefully we can help out with that. Next, we're going on to obviously the businesses that I've been speaking about. Basically, to let you know what I'm doing. I'm doing helping out 4 businesses each month, doing just a bit of advertisement for them, just a bit of free advertisement. As I know what it's like to run a small business myself, and in these times at the moment, advertising and stuff like that is quite a costly thing. So just helping a few businesses out. If you're a business yourself that would like some free advertising for a month, give us a shout. More than happy to do it. I've been putting it across my Twitter. Obviously, it'll be going on to the YouTube channel in the description as well. And obviously speaking about it during the podcast. Obviously, the first company is JW94. The brand is a new sports company established in 2021. Branded sports, anti-slip grip socks for a fraction of the price. There is going to be some other products which I believe is coming out after March. But if you have any information or anything like that, go to their Twitter page, which is JW94 the brand, or at official JW94. Or if you wanted to get in contact with Joel Windsor, who is the brand creator, which is at Joel W53. So if you want to find out more on that, if you're going to have a chat with them there. The second company is Sidekick for Sports UK. Sidekick for Sports formed in 2020. Patent pending sports innovations, sports apparel and accessories. Your aim is our aim. If there's any questions or if you wanted to speak to anyone, if you email Stu at sidekickforsports.co.uk. Stu at sidekickforsports.co.uk. Once again, I will be putting the link in the description on the YouTube channel. The next one is education through sports. Our mission at Education Through Sports is to create and enhance an atmosphere and environment that maximises student participation, nurtures and development of skills and values through sports, improve the participants' sports skills and knowledge. If you head over to Facebook for them, they have a Facebook page. Got a lot of stuff on there to show you exactly what they do. They do a lot of one-on-one sessions and stuff like that, which obviously with this day and age, I think it's quite good. So if you head over to Facebook for that one, and that's Education Through Sports. The final one, I know a lot of people of you know already, which is Matchday Marketing. Doing a lot of stuff at the moment, some really good stuff with social media. People still need to be doing this. I think there's a lot of clubs out there that kind of have stopped on the social media side of it. I don't think they should. I think obviously they should keep that carrying on, and this is a great company to be able to do that for. Low cost sports media and marketing, do match day promos, goal gifts, program designs, branding, design, social plus more. Obviously, you've got a website which is matchdaymarketing.co.uk. I'll be putting the link in the description of them. If you head over to their Twitter page, got all the information on there, and it'll show the stuff that they're working on. I believe that they just started working with Macron and Norwich, I believe. So head over to them and give them a shout. The other thing that I'm doing is I've spoken to a couple of clubs, and I'm going to be doing featured shirts. Starting this week, the featured shirt that I have, obviously listening on the podcast, you're not able to see it, but if you head over to the YouTube channel, you'll be able to see it there, is IVR, Ipswich Valley Rangers, which is a shirt that I've got in the background at the moment. Quite close to home for myself, as it was first club that I properly managed. As much as we didn't do great in the first season I managed, we didn't do too bad in the second. So quite close to home for me, for myself. And obviously it's a club that unfortunately they did fold. I think it was that last season or season before. David should know, actually. That was one of the clubs that he'd put up on his thing, so I'll ask him in a minute. But yeah, it was unfortunate with that, because it was such a good club. Originally, I think it was Woodbridge Athletic, and they've done really well as IVR. They I believe they won the senior division. I can't remember what year it was. Won the senior division. They got to senior cup final, and I think after that it kind of went downhill. Unfortunately, can't get my words out tonight. I do apologise. But yeah, obviously talking about past clubs and stuff like that, I can see that you're in, David. Are you able to talk, or has it come through, or just see, because I've got you in the room, but I can't hear you at all at the moment. I don't know if it's don't know if you've got a mic on at all. Just bear me 2 seconds, just having a bit of technical difficulties at the moment. Right, just bear me 2 seconds. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through, hopefully before we can get get David on. We'll talk about the segment that he's been doing. That's the segment that David's been doing. Let's say is past and past clubs. So what David's been doing, he's been doing I think about 6 or 7 clubs. And some of these clubs are quite well known. Some of the clubs, unless you've been in and around the SIL for a while, I don't think some of them you may recognise, some of them you might not. It's quite strange because a few of them I kind of recognise the names, but I don't know if that's to possibly do with like the kind of merging in with other clubs, because speaking to people around the SIL, there's been a lot of teams that used to be a club and then they've either changed name or they've joined with another club and then created another club. I believe Achilles done it as well. Achilles joined with St Clement's and then became Achilles, I believe, or took over. So some of the clubs, obviously, I do recognise. Some of the clubs I don't. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to get David in, just to get his take on, obviously, those clubs that have been and gone, what he thinks of the clubs now, if there's any difference kind of between the two. I think the last one he'd done, which was part 6. The clubs that he went through, Willis, I remember Willis, Ipswich Rovers, Bartons, and AFC Elmset. Obviously, Elmset, I do believe, have a Sunday side that is still going at the moment. Willis, I remember. I don't know where I remember that from. Yes, we were. I was actually talking about this today with my boss at work. Willis was founded in 1973. Ended the SIL in 1976-77, playing, I believe, at Rushmore until moved to Gresham's in 97. They were Division 1 side in the years leading up to 2008, and then successive relegation saw Willis drop into Division 3, where they remained in the middle of the lower half of the next 4 campaigns. This was the end for Willis as a single entity. Willis then linked up with AFC Kesgrave in 2014 and 2015 season. AFC Kesgrave and Willis were playing in Division 2. Promotion was achieved Division 1 2016. However, I'm not sure if Willis is still preserved in the name. AFC Kesgrave still playing Division 1. Willis themselves had a proud history, as Willis Greenun were runners-up in the Suffolk Junior Cup in 1992. Yeah, if you give that button a hit, mate, we'll get you in.
Hello.
Lovely. I think you're now in, David, I believe.
Right, okay.
It's saying that you're connected.
Right.
There we go. I can hear you now.
I should have pressed that ages ago. I'm in my mid-50s, so I just I've discovered what Podbean is, so that's the main thing, and it's taken me probably about an hour longer than anybody else to get in. So thank you for that.
No, that's fine, mate. That's fine. As I say, I was just we were just talking about the last Gone But Not Forgotten you'd put up. Obviously, I've been reading these for the start of you putting them in there, and I find them very interesting. Obviously, the podcast is supposed to be focused on the SIL and just the SIL. Obviously, it's been a bit different for the last couple of weeks last couple of months because of obviously COVID. So, but I've been finding this very, very interesting, and I think I messaged you, as I say, about a month or so about obviously you popping on and speaking about this, and you mentioned that you used to cover the SIL. Was that for the Greenun?
Well, I started in about 2005, and we just did sort of match reports really, and I did that for about 7 or 8 years, and then I mean I don't work for the East Anglian. I've got another separate job in social care, so I just do that in my spare time.
All right.
And for the last sort of 6 or 7 years, we've really done sort of Ryman League and Thurlow Nunn and stuff like that, because I think there's been a few cutbacks in staff in the East Anglian, and then we've just sort of taken over that really and just kept it going. But this year, as it's been cut down, Mike Bacon, who obviously one of the head honchos there, he said, well, can you go back and do some SIL? So I'm sort of learning as I'm going, because I haven't really done it for a few years, and certainly with the but obviously with there's no football, we've had to sort of come up with ideas to sort of keep the Greenun Facebook page going, and that was one of the ideas that we had really.
I think it's been kind of the same for a lot of people. As I say, when I started this, I don't know if I started it at the right time, because it was like I started this, I've done a couple of weeks of my aim was just to do kind of fixtures and results and go to a game and talk about that game, and that would have been a good decent hour, maybe hour and a half. But I've now had to try to go into, as you say, kind of think outside the box a little bit because of what's gone on. So I think a lot of people are struggling with trying to keep things going. But I think, as Brent, as I say, I watch, I go on the Facebook, the Greenun, quite a bit. I remember the Greenun obviously being the segment in the paper and stuff like that, even back when I was living in Essex, and I used to be involved with Border League and stuff like that. Do you feel that going down the route of, because I know it's only just been kind of decided over the last couple of years to go down the digital route instead of having that segment in the paper, do you find that it's better, or do you think it's the same, or have we not really noticed it too much because of what's gone on?
I just think it's different. I mean, I'm old school, so I think you brought up with the Green, and I've lived in Suffolk since the early 90s, and I've previously lived in places like Leeds and Wolverhampton and one or two other places, and the coverage of the actual non-league football in Suffolk is absolutely superb, or certainly it was in those years compared to what it was in quite industrial built up places where you'd have thought, in Leeds and Sheffield, you'd have thought, well, but it was mainly concentrated on the league sides, where you got to Suffolk and there's only obviously Ipswich, and they covered Colchester and all these, and that's why I became interested in it. All these sort of sides, around from Bury and Sudbury through to the Ridgeons ones, or the Thurlow Nunn through to the SIL, and they all had most of them had their own correspondent, and it was fantastic just reading them and making them seem as important as a lot of the teams above them, really. And a lot of newspapers, had just forgotten teams like that, and they were left to sort of wither away, really.
Well, I think this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do the podcast, because you go to a lot of these clubs and they're quite unique, from SL up, even up to like Thurlow Nunn. I'll use a Thurlow Nunn team for an example. You go to Yarmouth. Obviously, you go to Yarmouth and how that ground is.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's a very open ground. It's a unique ground. One of the oldest stands, I believe, that they've got down there. So you've got the running track around it and stuff like that. So it's quite a unique ground there. And then you go to, which I mentioned IVR before. Obviously, unfortunately, as they're not about now, but that was being played at a sports centre. So you go from quite a unique ground, as in, it's being played at a sports centre, which you find quite strange, and then you go to somewhere like Yarmouth, which is kind of the same at a sports centre, but it's not. If you know what I mean, it's at a different level. It's I love the uniqueness of a lot of these pitches that I've played at, I've managed at, and I've gone to and heard about. There's a lot of pitches I haven't been to yet. But you must find that when you cover clubs, or when you've started reading about clubs and stuff like that, and you might sit there and go, "Oh, I never knew that. I never knew that." I'm starting to find that now.
Yeah, and it's
I'm starting to find it, like, I didn't know Achilles. I thought Achilles had started as Achilles. I didn't realise that they'd actually joined with another club and then became Achilles.
Right.
So that was quite neat. That must be for yourself as well, going back through like the different years and stuff like that, finding out these new things that you probably didn't know about before.
I didn't, to be honest with you. It sort of implies that I'm an expert on this, but I'm not at all. I'm not at all. I might be by the end of it, but I'm not at all. I just thought I knew some of the stuff that had been going on, so I thought, well, let's explore as far as we can some of these teams, and I'm learning as I'm going along. Really, there's some, teams that put a bit of money then fade away. There's some teams that have been there for years and years, like I think if we space teams like Parkside and Tackett Street and St Clement's Hospital and all those sort of teams, and you just learn as you going on, really. And so I had a base of knowledge, but it's probably increased by about tenfold since I started doing it, really, to be fair.
It's looking back, as I say, I'm just having a little look through now. I know you started obviously speaking about some of the leagues this season and stuff like that. Did you manage to get along to any of the games before it was called off again, or was this just going through kind of the results that you were seeing and stuff like that?
No, we managed. I think because we started the season, I used to do like a match report on one of the top games. I think John Campany did his one. Usually had the top one because he'd been doing a lot longer. And but I preferred to do. I mean, I know John very well, and I preferred to do anything really. And the more different grounds, the better. It was just probably a bit of a cover for ground hopping, really, if I admit it. But from October, when we started the Facebook page, I've managed to get along to probably about 6 or 7 in between the lockdowns. So I popped over to Bilderston. I went to Sporting 87, Trimley's, Red Devils, Claydon. They had a good game against Haverhill Borough, and I also went to Claydon against Haverhill Borough, and then I saw East Burgolt win on penalties against Debenham. So that you get a choice basically if whatever game I want to go to, I can go to. So it usually be 9 times out of 10 BSIL, and then occasionally I'll have a little sort of dabble back into the Thurlow Nunn, but it's basically SIL, and hopefully it will be any level, so it can go down to Division 3, and hopefully by doing that, it'll promote a lot of the clubs that maybe haven't got their Twitter pages or they haven't got that social media presence, and we can give them some support that way, really, as well.
I think that's what I'm looking to do as well. I'm looking to obviously trying to get to kind of the lower levels and even some of the reserve levels as well, just to obviously get that promotion, because it is difficult. I'm not being funny, to maintain a Twitter page, a Facebook page, and stuff like that. You need someone that is going to be hot on it all the time, being able to put the right things and stuff like that. And it is quite difficult. Obviously, one of the better clubs I've seen do it is Henley. Tony Stone over there, he's really good. What he does with the social media over there, but he does that specifically. He doesn't do anything else really with the club. It's more the media side of it.
Yeah.
So I think clubs do that, and if you've got someone like yourself that are wanting to pop along to these clubs and these games and stuff like that, it's brilliant. So with doing the Thurlow None and with doing the SIL, let's say beginning of this season, do you see a difference footballing wise now, or because I've asked a lot of people this, is it now starting to get on par with each other? Do you think, or?
I think. I mean, I think probably the top, unlimited viewing this year. I think that probably the top sort of 5 or 6 sides of the SIL could easily, compete in the Thurlow Division 1. Really, I'm sure. I'm sure they could. It's just probably got far more knowledge than me, but the players don't want to maybe travel as much or commit as much, and the talent's still there.
Yeah.
Really. So I don't see why. Yeah.
I think a lot of it does come down financially as well. It's difficult. I think so. Once again, the climate that we're in at the moment. If we did have football, can people afford to, not work on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night or whatever night it is during the week to go and play football? Is it just easier to know that you're going to have a game on Saturday and you can work all week and sometimes even Saturday mornings? Do you know what I mean? Is work now really taking it over and it becoming just a Saturday sport again instead of a midweek one? It's got, because for myself, it's one of the reasons why I've had to step away from management, because I haven't been able to commit too much. To training and sometimes games and stuff like that. So, but I don't know. So with the Facebook doing as well as it is at the moment, are they looking to just keep it as a Facebook page, or are they going to look at stretching it into actually having its own website, which I think it used to, didn't it, or it still does? I don't know if it's still going.
Well, he had a website, and then some of the teams could put their own results on it. I know Tom Henley used to do it, and I think Phil from Westerfield and 1 or 2 other guys. But to be honest, it wasn't really updated. It was a great website to start off with, and it wasn't really updated. So you got teams like Bilderston who weren't on it, and you couldn't put their results on. So I think people sort of gave up, and then I think that's been sort of that doesn't work anymore, I believe. And it's just the Facebook. Whether they're going to do anything else or not, I don't know. But it's I think the Facebook page is going sort of really well, really, and it also, as I say, it stretches down all the way to SIL3. And I'm sure it will incorporate other teams, sort of, on the far-flung outreaches of Suffolk, really, maybe like Bungay and Beccles, just to, it incorporates all those, really, when we get round to doing them, but it's mainly.
Oh, are you still there? I don't know if we've lost you. There you go.
Right.
We lost you for a second.
No,
there.
I think I had an incoming call, so that was I'm amazed how I can get on Podbean. I've managed to get rid of that incoming call. So yeah, but just quickly, as you sort of say, you asked the question before digitally. I am rubbish at it, but through my job now, I'm doing Skype, I'm doing Teams, I'm doing Zoom without cats there or without upside down people, or I mean, I managed to sort of nearly have a data breach by ringing the wrong family into the wrong meeting. But apart from that, don't, apart from that, I've just about managed to do it. But if it's done, obviously you guys are all over it. I mean, when we were growing up, we didn't have a clue what digital was. So, but it is very, very sort of, if it's done the right way, I'm sure it's very, very helpful to spread the word, quickly, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's as I say, and I keep saying it in this day and age now. Obviously, before like lockdowns and stuff like that, people were very digitalized anyway. Even as I say, my kids I've got 3 young girls.
Yeah.
They've got mobile phones, they've got computers and stuff like that. So that was very there anyway. But now, as I say, you've got the Facebook page and you've got Twitters as well and stuff like that. But people go to it and look. It can be it's great for knowledge. As I say, going through, doing what I'm doing at the moment, looking through what you're putting up. I think, who else is it? Mickey Squirrel. Stuff that he's been putting up as well. I think I've just seen here. Division 4 Section A with Tatting Stone won the league with 138 goals for. And what was it? Is it Nicolians or something? Nicolians reserves 133 for. I just like to see what these goalkeepers were like in those days. But it's so interesting to kind of look at the past and stuff like that. Obviously, Michael with the stuff that he puts up as well. I have spoken to him. I'm hoping to get him on. Got him on at one point. It would be nice to have him on and to have a chat as well. But
so I'm sorry, because I've obviously done loads of stuff from Mike for ages, but actually at Claydon I met him for the first time because we've often gone to different games, so we never actually met. Well, I've spoken to him for 10 years. But so that'd be really good. I mean, he's got loads of knowledge on the stuff really as well. So
this is the thing. Even myself, as I say, I've only been, as I say, Thurlow Nunn. Probably have a little bit more because that was my playing days. That was I played reserve level. But I played at Stowmarket, Witton, and Ipswich Wanderers. So those three clubs that I'd been at and I'd been around to a few grounds and stuff like that. But my knowledge of Suffolk football was not overly great, but it's enough. But it is great to go on, as I say, and look at your page and have a look at. Obviously, there's quite a few sides that have been in the SIL that have gone up to Thurlow Nunn. Obviously, I think Witton was the last to do that. They went up and I don't know. You might agree with me. I think it might be a shame that it probably costs clubs a lot of money to be able to go up to that next level. Because I think once again there is SIL clubs there that have probably got that potential to go up to Thurlow Nunn, but don't, because financially it's not feasible, if you know what I mean.
No, sort of, and also, and I think they need a certain amount of cover, don't they? And they need lights and pitches, sort of, all railed off and all that sort of stuff, and that takes an awful lot of organisation on a voluntary basis, doesn't it? So
it is such a shame because the actual pitches, even at SIL level now, are probably better than some of the Thurlow Nunn pitches. And that's obviously down to the volunteers and the groundsmen that the SIL clubs have. But it's such a shame because I love the likes of Achilles and Cranes and Henley and stuff like that to kind of want to push through to make that next step, because when you win the league, that you get that option to then go up. But obviously, say you've got to have the seating, you've got to have the correct facilities and stuff like that, which is once again money and stuff like that, until you get that injection of money. Like I think Coggeshall had it they had that injection of money and was able to push up. And it'd be nice to see another SIL side kind of do that, which unfortunately I don't think is going to be so.
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think there's any. I mean, I remember Framlingham going up, but I mean, they already had the stand and the facilities. They just had the team, did they? So they went up about 4 or 5 years ago, I think. And then Brantham went back up after going down, and they already had the stand and the facilities. But to actually sort of build it up and to get all the floodlights and to get all the hospitality you need and to get it all fenced off and whatever, it's as I say, it's a big job, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm just because as we're talking, I'm flicking through the Facebook site, and I've just picked up a something. Who's put it on? As Mickey Squirrel that's put it on the 1955 to 1956 season.
Yeah,
I don't know what the league was actually called. Just have a look, see if he's put it on there. He hasn't, but a couple of these teams I've actually played for.
right, yeah.
Waterside Works, which then turned into Waterside. I played for them.
Right, okay, right.
They finished first. Ipswich Wanderers, they finished second. Achilles, I've played against. Whitton United, I've played for. They finished fourth. Felixstowe Town. Now, see, that one was.
I don't know about. Yeah.
See, because that one I'd have to look into, because I'd be like, right, was that Felixstowe Town, and then they turned into Felixstowe Warren?
Yeah.
Because you have a look at them, and you've got that similar name. Obviously, got Needham Market in there, Hadley, Great Blakenham. Are in there. So these are a mixture of obviously SIL sides that have either stayed in the SIL or because the leagues change so much, and but it is interesting. I think it's absolutely fascinating. As I say, people need to get over and start looking at this. I think it's an amazing job what you guys do.
I think because I think a lot of the leagues they only go down to the start of this century, and then I think the stuff that Mickey's putting on, obviously he's got it in the Greenun and he's got it on the newspaper. I'll probably crib a bit of that, to be honest, and then so we can trace some of these teams as well, like Nicoli, and they've got they used to have a team called Electric Supply, I think it was. Yeah, and I say Nicolians and Allen Road, which somebody mentioned, which I'd never heard of. So it'd be quite good to sort of, until the season gets started, track some of those, really.
So is this information you get through the Greenun, or is this somewhere that's somewhere else that you're able to get, or do you speak to clubs personally, or?
No, I mean, there's I suppose there's the current SIL FA sort of website, which you can go through for the last few years, and then there's the old football Mitu, which takes you back mainly to the start of the century and 21st century. Then there's scraps of stuff I've got in the odd Sado that I am, the odd program that I've got, which I'll keep in a box very sadly. Well, lots of boxes. Generally hide it away, but and then there's this, and then you sort of put it out there, and then somebody who's been living in Suffolk longer than I have will say, "What about this team?" And I think, "Never heard of that team." We just say we'd have that discussion, say what happened with that? What have you got on that? And then we might be able to put that in the next time, or so you just put it out there, really, and hopefully you'll get more information from the people who've got more knowledge than I have, really.
It is, as I say, I find it absolutely fascinating, and I think it's kind of good to get the heritage of where the league was and how far it's come, because I think even at the time that I've been playing and been involved with the SIO, it's come a long way. The facilities, the pitches, even how like kind of more serious it's taken now. You know, I think a lot of local football, i.e., at that level, was still cast as a kind of Saturday/Sunday pub side, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Or because I know you used to have the Interfirm, didn't you? You used to have obviously a lot of companies play against each other. I know Tux used to have a team, and
See, I didn't know anything about that. I think you guys do, and then Mike Bacon knows a lot about it. I didn't know really about that, to be honest.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. It's only speaking to people. Speaking to my father-in-law. My father-in-law used to work for Tux, and he used to play for him. So it's. I think even though, and I know we were talking about this earlier, where you were based around Leeds and stuff like that. So it's still been quite industrial here, but they've kind of like brought the football into it.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean. I'd love to have been around when they used to do like Interfirm football. That'd have been great.
Yeah.
But no, it's just having a look. I say what Michael would put on the 7th about Waterside Works and stuff like that. So I played for Waterside. That was a couple of seasons before they. I know it's starting to be a bit of a trend. A couple of seasons before they folded, I played for them.
Right. Yeah.
A couple of seasons before IVR folded, I managed them.
Yeah.
Hope it doesn't go the same way as other clubs I've been at. So with the games that you have seen and some of the, I know some of the leagues you have spoken about and stuff like that. Have you got a personal opinion of what team to kind of look out for, or what team have kind of caught your eye, or even just club that you quite enjoyed going to or seeing?
Well, I think this year, I mean, obviously I haven't seen many, to be fair. I went, when I wasn't doing anything or writing, I went to see Halesworth. So I'd never been there before. I mean, I've been to Halesworth, very nice place, but and they beat Achilles 4-0. And I know Achilles weren't great, but Halesworth looked, the football they played, they got a couple of guys up front. I think Summerfield and Toby Payne, they looked really good. And that they looked a side that were going to be a force this year. And I'd say Claydon played some, always play some decent football. And I'd say I've seen Trimley Red Devils, and they look a very good young side. I haven't seen Benall. I was going to going to Benall when they played Bilderston, but obviously lockdown took over. And then I've been to see Bilderston, and they've got obviously they've got David Lorimer, who probably, arguably, is the best player in the league, or certainly the best striker. So they're always going to score a lot of goals. So if I've missed somebody out, I apologise, but I've probably not seen them, to be honest. But they were the and of course East Burgolt played very well against Debenham, and sort of they were on a par with them, even though they're in a lower league. So there's been some good football played, certainly, this year, yeah. But I'd say I've only been to about 5, 6, 7 games, I reckon, in between everything. So, yeah. And as for sort of hospitality, and I always used to, it was never a club I didn't like going to, but I always used to have a very warm welcome. We went to Old Newton. That's one of my favourite clubs. Yeah.
Old Newton, I went over and I was managing Ransom's reserves. We went and played their reserves as a pre-season friendly. They got a lovely clubhouse there, which I think is really good because it's right next to obviously their main pitch. Yeah, which I think is really good. I love going to clubs that you can see that have put so much work into making their club a club.
Yeah,
you can go to a lot of places where you can see the facilities. No disrespect to Sporting. Sporting are a very good club, the way they are, the way they run, and everything like that. But their facilities, obviously, you can see it's been done for not just them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, as somebody that plays a lot of cricket, I mean, I've never played football because I've got 2 left feet. I'm absolutely hopeless. But I used to be a half decent cricketer. I've played years over it. But it's more of a cricket.
Yeah.
It's done for cricket, isn't it? Right, and the football sort of added on, really. And
it's same for a lot of clubs. Ransoms are the same.
Yeah.
I was out there for a good couple of seasons, but obviously I've played cricket up there as well. That was when I used to be able to play cricket. I'm kind of the same with football and cricket. I was good when I was younger, but now I've got older and put a bit of weight on. I'm not as great.
I think it's same with me with cricket. Really, I can't really move now, but you have to make up the numbers somehow. But yeah.
But yeah, it's and there's a lot of clubs, and that hinders a lot of clubs.
Yeah,
it hinders a lot of clubs because they have to take into account. It's like obviously the big discussion at the moment is this season going to finish? Are they going to extend it? Are they going to take it into the summer? I don't see it happening at this level. The reason why I don't is because, once again, you have the cricket involved. You have a lot of clubs that have cricket pitches on there, and you have a lot of clubs that are council owned as well that are going to go, no, we can't afford this pitch to be torn up. We can't afford this pitch to be ruined. And we've got a cricket season. Do you think that this season will be done and dusted, or do you think they will try and extend it?
Well, I mean, personally, I can't really see it being finished in its current form, really. I mean, I think as soon as we can get back safely playing, it'll be fantastic. And it's obviously great for people's mental health, playing and watching, and we all want to get out. So as soon as it's safe to do so, it'd be great to get going again. But I can't really, as you say, see, certainly maybe the top division of the SIL, the amount of games they've got to play, I can't really see them fitting it all in. As you say, going to the summer, it doesn't seem to be practical, really. With the cricket and commitments, and so I hope it continues in some form, whether they restrict the number of games or I don't know what they can do really. But it'd be great to see it, but I can't really see it finishing in its current form. Really.
See, the way I would like to do it is, it's an idea, and I know a lot of clubs will probably sit down and turn around and go, Alex, you're talking stupid.
Yeah.
But the way that we could look at doing it is keep the points that we've got this season.
Yeah.
Go into next season, start on those points, start on those games being played, and then finish it as next season.
Yeah.
Because I just think, because people have put a lot of hard work in this season to get where that they've got to, it's then, I think it might help clubs to keep players.
Yeah.
Because I'm not being funny, but maybe not the lower sides, unfortunately, but the higher sides. So I'll use Ipswich Wanderers as an example. Obviously, they hit the ground running. They've done really well, and they want to keep the players that they've got. Now, to turn around and say to them, look, you're going to keep the points that you've got, you're going to keep the position that you've got, and what we're going to do is next season we'll just run that in, and you finish the season off, they're more likely going to keep those players.
Yeah.
And obviously, same with the senior SIL sides. It's an idea. I know a lot of people have thrown ideas about, and they've turned around points per game and stuff like that. And I just think with that, it comes complicated, and there's going to be more arguments about it, of either just doing I think just a yes or no is more of a feasible option. It's like we don't really get anything back from the FA. As I say at the start of the show, I said that the statement that they've put out, I think they put a lot of stuff out just to show people that they kind of care.
Yeah.
But they don't really know themselves. The FA can't turn around and say anything until Boris says anything. That's the thing.
Yeah. No, they're pretty sort of hanging on really, and it won't be till middle of March until the earliest, will it? Until
No.
we could do something. So that's a long way ahead, really.
Yeah, it is. It is a shame, and it's frustrating. I think for all. I think it's frustrating for obviously the players, management clubs, and stuff like that. It's frustrating for the media side, like yourselves, because you've got to try and report on something that's not there.
Yeah. Yes, right. Yeah, we just get a Facebook page up and running, and you get all the stuff that you're doing, and then there's no football. So as you say, you've got to be creative, really, haven't you? And
But I think
try a few ideas, really.
this is the other reason why I think as a footballing community and a local footballing community, it's the reason why we try and talk to each other and help each other out. Do you know what I mean? It's like you've got obviously what James and Adam are doing with the non-league show that they're doing. Obviously, they're a lot more of a broader range than what I am, and probably a lot more kind of in depth than myself. I'm quite old fashioned, but I'm like, I just want to play football and talk about football and results and blinding goals and stuff like that. Which I'm not used to talking to kind of the political side of it, where I think James and Adam do that very, very well. And yourselves, obviously, you've brought out the Facebook page and stuff like that. But if we can kind of help each other out, obviously, with yourself coming on tonight has helped me out a lot to get your side of it and stuff like that. And I'll try and promote the Facebook page as much as possible to get people interested in that, because I do think we need something like that, especially when football comes back.
I think it's been sort of I mean, I never really thought about it, but I think it's been sort of long overdue, really. Because I mean, Facebook's been about for a long time, and our website was sort of dwindling, really. You'd only got about 3 or 4 scribes that were putting stuff on there for match reports, really. And, if you look back on what it was about 15, 20 years ago and the printed stuff, and it was sort of declining. And now it's brought a lot of teams, a lot of clubs to the attention, really. And as you say, that those that aren't being brought to the fore can be brought to the fore by us lot, really. Yeah.
I think as well with the it's like myself, I was able to obviously promote myself and you coming on tonight, but it's also good as well because then if people are at games, they're able to post pictures, they're able to obviously post their own opinions of some sorts on there and stuff, which with the website and I think with it being in the paper kind of hinders that a little bit. You can't really do that. Do you know what I mean? You can do, obviously, by sending letters in and stuff like that to be able to go in, but then it probably hinders yourselves of what you can actually put in there and what you can't put in it because you then have to choose.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's a great idea. I think it's going to, especially when the season starts up again, I think that will take off even more with people's videos and stuff like that. But no, as I say, I think you're doing brilliant job over there. As I say, what you've been putting on yourself and what the other guys have been putting on, I think is great. It's great knowing the history of the SIL and furlough and stuff like that. It's been great having you on, David. Thank you for coming on.
No worries. Thanks for inviting me. I'm amazed I've managed to get through it without deleting myself or anything. So
we nearly had that phone call disruption. We nearly had it. But that's all right.
I'll have to try and work out how to. Yeah. I'll have to try and work out how to. I don't think I'll be able to, but anyway. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Thanks very much. Yeah,
that's fine. That's been great, and hopefully, I say, I'll try and get you back on. Hopefully, if the season starts up and running, or I say even next season, we'll get you back on.
Yeah, no worries.
I may even see you at a game or two once we get going.
Hopefully, yeah. All right, it's been brilliant coming on. Thanks for inviting me.
Cheers, David.
All the very best.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
So that was David. If you want to go over and check out David's stuff, if you pop over to the Greenun on Facebook, you've got all of his stuff on there. the other stuff that the other guys do is brilliant as well. I really enjoy going on there and having a read and seeing what's going on there. As I say, it's not just about the SIL. It's about furlough and stuff like that. But it's good to see the history. It's good to see the history of the SIL. It's good to see the history of our local clubs and everything like that. If I had a little bit more time, I'd love to be able to sit there and kind of go through the history of a lot of the clubs and stuff like that, because there's so much out there. It's quite difficult to get the time to sit there and do it. So what these chaps are doing is absolutely brilliant, I think. As I say, even if you just flick through, I think you're going to find something in there which is going to be an interesting read, or find something in there that is associated to yourself, whether it's a club that you've played for, or a club that you've played against, or a club that, as I say, used to be another club which is now your club. So yeah, pop along onto that and have a look. Thank you for coming on tonight. A bit of a short one tonight. Didn't want to go too long with a lot of the podcast, keeping it short and sweet, as we say. As I say, thank you for coming on and listening. Thank you for David for coming on. As I say, hopefully we'll be able to get him back on again if the season starts up again, or next season. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching on YouTube. If you're listening on Podbean Live, thank you for coming on, listening live. If you're listening on Spotify, thank you for listening on Spotify as well. This will be out on Spotify within the next 24 hours. As I say, it'll be out on Podbean to listen to again in the next 24 hours as well. The video for YouTube, I will be trying to get out during the week, so keep a lookout for there. If you haven't been over to the YouTube channel and looked at the videos that we've got at the moment, pop over, have a look. Have a look, even if it's just for 5-10 minutes at a time. Have a look. Give me a like, give me a share, hit the bell. Then it will let you know what videos are coming up and when they're coming up as well. But yeah, anything that, as I said, we've spoken to about tonight, check out those businesses. These businesses there and out to help the local sporting community as well, whether it's football or anything else. Get over, check them out as well. But apart from that, have a great weekend. I'm now going to enjoy my Friday night with my family. I hope everyone will enjoy their weekends with their families as much as they can do. If you're loving the snow, get out, enjoy the snow as well. I know, make a snowman before the snow melts. But no, have a great weekend, and I will see you same time next week. See you later.